Kamisato Ayato, leader of the Kamisato clan, brother to Ayaka, and guy with the really cool anime sword slashes, is finally getting his rerun in 4.2 alongside Sino in the second half. Given that Furina and Paitsu are in the first half, both of which are fantastic characters, is Ayato even worth saving or using your remaining Primo Gems for? Let me share more with you today. To start off, let me first share about his kit. When you press his elemental skill, he will summon a water illusion. This illusion will explode and deal hydro damage when enemies are nearby or when the duration expires. The skill will also infuse his normal attacks with hydro and allow him to unleash a flurry of anime style sword slashes. He can only use normal attacks when in this mode. When these normal attacks hit opponents, Ayato will gain a Namisen stacks based on his max HP, which will increase the damage that he deals. His elemental burst summons droplets in a circle. The droplets apply hydro and characters in the field receive a 20% normal attack boost at level 10. For his Ascension Talent 1, Ayato will gain 2 Namisen stacks when he uses his skill, and he will gain more to the max when the water illusion explodes. For his talent number 2, Ayato will regenerate 2 energy for himself every second if he's not in the field and his energy is less than 40. For Ayato's build, it depends on how you're using him. If you're using him as a DPS, you can use the Battle Pass weapon Black Sword, or even give him the Black Cliff Sword for the crit damage. For artifacts, I gave him the Valley Ride set to increase his normal attack damage, but you can definitely go for the Marichase Hunter if you pair him with Furina now. If you are building him as a burst support, I would go for an energy recharge sword such as the Favonia sword with the Noblesse Oblige artifacts to give teammates additional attack buff after his burst. For teams, personally, I can recommend Ayato on 3 teams that I personally use. 1 is to pair with his sister Ayaka. Ayaka usually runs the Blizzard Strayer set and needs hydro application. Ayato's burst in this case can provide that hydro application and also increase her normal attack damage for increased overall damage. 2. You can also use Ayato as a driver. Pairing him with Dendro characters, Ayato can help to apply hydro on the field to proc the blooms for further reactions such as Hyper Bloom or Burgeon. 3rd, with the release of Furina, you can use Ayato with Furina on a mono hydro team with other characters such as Xingqiu, Yelan or Kazuha. You'll be surprised that this actually deals quite decent damage. Before I continue, if you enjoyed today's video, do consider leaving a like and subscribing if you haven't to help us to get to our next goal of 5,000 subscribers. Thank you so much! Now that we have covered Ayato's kit, build, and teams, let's move on to his pros. Firstly, he's versatile in the sense that he can be both an on-field and off-field hydro applicator depending on the situation or team that you put him in. As mentioned earlier, he can be an on-field applicator if you would like him to be a driver to Dendro teams, or if you would like him to be the main damage dealer, pairing him with Furina or Xiangling for the vaporizers can prove to be successful as well. He can also work well off-field for reasonable hydro application and also help to boost normal attack damage, which is particularly useful for characters such as Yoimiya. Secondly, his normal attack is probably the coolest looking one in the game. If you don't care about anything else but aesthetics, you should definitely go for him just so that you can show off that cool normal attacks. However, that is where Ayato's pros end. Are you ready for the long list of cons that he has? Here we go. Firstly, Ayato's on-field and off-field hydro application honestly is amazing. He doesn't apply as much hydro as you would like due to the ICD that he has on his normal attacks. This means that you'll find yourself vaping a lot less than you would like. His burst on the other hand isn't any better. The droplets randomly hit opponents, so there's a chance that you will not apply hydro on the opponent that you might want. Secondly, as a hydro DPS character, he honestly isn't that strong. As mentioned earlier, he has ICD on his normal attacks, so he will not be able to vaporize as much, and hence not do as much damage. Moreover, the scalings on his normal attacks also just aren't high enough to deal that good damage. Even Yelan, an off-field Hydro Applicator, can do more damage. Third, Ayato's elemental skill only lasts for 6 seconds, which is a few seconds too short to do reasonable damage. I often found myself wanting the extra 1 or 2 seconds of Hydro Infusion to defeat the enemy properly. You know, I honestly thought that I had to purposely go to record instances of this happening, but it turns out that Ayato's skill always ended too quickly for any of the showcases that I was doing. So this is definitely a problem that I hope that you will consider before pulling for him. Fourth, while the off-field Hydro application with Ayato is somewhat good, Ayato has energy recharge issues, even with its Ascension talent too. This means that you'll find yourself being unable to use his burst a lot of the time, which really sucks if you're going for him as an off-field Hydro support. Finally, he's honestly just outclassed by Furina. Furina can literally do all that Ayato can. She can have a strong elemental skill to apply Hydro off-field that lasts for 30 seconds, and whose burst is able to buff the entire team's damage and not just for their normal attack damage. But then again, Hoyoverse really loves to do this, don't they? It first happened with Raiden, the Electro Archon, totally outclassing Cyno with more utility and having a stronger burst with resistance to interruption. Now, Furina, the Hydro Archon, is doing the exact same thing to Ayato. But let's be real, obviously the Archons have to be stronger than their elemental counterparts. Otherwise, they wouldn't really be called an Archon, now would they? So, having covered all that, is Ayato still worth pulling in 4.2? Honestly, I really don't know why anyone would want Ayato today, unless you really like his design or skill. If you want to use a Hydro DPS, you can always go for Child or Nuvalet instead. And if you want an off-field Hydro Applicator, Xingqiu, Yelan or Furina will be way better than Ayato. Ayato is just outclassed by every other Hydro character out there, and I highly advise for you to save your Primo Gems instead for future characters such as the upcoming Navia or reruns. So, will you be pulling for Ayato? Do let me know down in the comments below. If you'd like to see which standard banner character is the most worth to build, please click the video on the right. If you would like to see my other Genshin Impact videos, please click the playlist on the left. Once again, thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye!